Good. What changes do you think Alaric's going to be making to the school following the events of season 1?
Okay. We're going to play a little game called Maybe, Maybe Not.
I said, do you think?
So here we go. Alaric's been voted off the island, right? At the end of season 1, he's been kicked out. And so we'll find him now, months later, summer break coming to a close. He's been on sabbatical, he's grown out his beard, his hair has grown wild. And he may be butthurt by the fact that the vote didn't go his way. He may have thought he would have been kept on as headmaster, but he's no longer the headmaster. So, as in between jobs, he's looking for a new job, and he may or may not become the principal for Mr. Paul's high school. And there may or may not be a headmaster replacement for him in the Salvatore school. This replacement may or may not be actually on the level.
On the level?
Yeah. He may or may not. This new headmaster may see the kids and their powers differently than Alaric does. And this new headmaster may or may not want to sort of like remove all the restrictions that Alaric was putting in place in order to kind of protect them from themselves. And this person may or may not, this new headmaster may or may not encourage the students to do things that Alaric would never encourage them to do. And this may or may not lead them in the best place. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Alaric as the new principal at Mystic Falls High School, replaced by this new headmaster at the Salvatore School, may or may not reignite a high school rivalry that may or may not manifest as another football game. Maybe. We'll see. There may or may not be a new love interest for Alaric. And this love interest may or may not be the new sheriff in town of Mystic Falls.
So Matt Donovan.
Yeah. This new love interest may or may not be Matt Donovan. We're taking things in a whole new direction.
I mean, the fans we have behind us.
Yeah, for sure. What else? We may or may not find Hope locked in the Malivore pit in the beginning of episode 1, and maybe by the end of season 1 she might get out of the Malivore. Maybe. She may or may not be wandering through Mystic Falls after she gets out, having been completely erased from everyone's memory, so she's a total stranger that no one recognizes. Maybe a monster got out of Malivore and she's in the process of tracking it down, in spite of the fact that no one remembers who she is. And she may or may not run into Alaric, who's also tracking down the same monster. And they may or may not cross paths in pursuit of the same monster. And Alaric probably doesn't recognize her when he runs into her. And she may or may not construct a whole identity to give to him since he doesn't remember who she is. But they may or may not partner up. They may or may not partner up to track down these monsters in spite of the fact that he doesn't know who she is. His daughters are also pressuring Alaric to cough up information about the merge that he may or may not be keeping from him, because he may have a secret that could unlock the problem and save both of his daughters. But if he tells them, they might take that key to save themselves and unlock a door to a dimension that may or may not release somebody that they may or may not be related to into the world, which might be a bigger danger all around for the town. And so Alaric may or may not be stuck in a position where he might have to sacrifice one of his daughters to save the greater good. Because if he saves both of his daughters, it might unleash a darkness so terrible it might be more dangerous to more people. Maybe.
Give us something.
A big part.
And this may or may not happen just in the first 2 episodes. Maybe.
So a big part of last season was the sort of surrogate relationship between Hope and Alaric as father and daughter. Are we going to watch them kind of, or may we watch them rebuild that this season?
Maybe. Maybe we might. Yeah, you might see them team up again, rebuild a relationship. Maybe this jogs his memory. Maybe it doesn't. We'll see how that unfolds. I'm not quite sure at this point. Like I said, we're only into season or episode 2, 3. Yeah.
Well, since the Vampire Diaries, Alaric has always had mixed feelings about supernatural beings, and that continued to shift in Legacies.
Yeah.
And by the end, he respected them a lot more. Is that going to continue to evolve in season 2?
Absolutely. I think he's always had respect for what it is that he's up against. He may be careless here and there. He might make mistakes along the way, but I think he's definitely he definitely knows what he's up against, and he knows what he needs to do to do the right thing. And he's always in that position of maybe doing the right thing. It doesn't always look like the right thing in the moment, but later on down the road, it might turn out to have been the very right thing all along. So he's kind of he's always in that position of being a few steps ahead of everyone else. And I'm waiting for them to kind of figure out he may or may not have been right all along.
So
when you win a role like Alaric,
Yeah.
as an actor, how do you prepare? What influenced you when you were developing your characterization?
Yeah, I mean, so every actor has their approach and their way into the character, and I've been playing this character now for 10 years, so I kind of have to go back to my Rolodex and like how it all began. But I always like to start with the archetype that they represent, and then sort of like dress up the archetype with specifics, your own personal points of view, and obviously the what if situation. If I were in this situation, how would this go? But Alaric has always been the protector, father figure, researcher, adventurer, and romantic who is constantly sort of being thwarted along the way. And so the interesting thing for me now is when you play a character that spans a decade, how do you grow with a character that long and remain interesting and engaged? And that's where the writers have done, I think, a really terrific job of Legacies. Keeping his log line fresh, keeping the humor in there, keeping him human, and I think they'll continue to develop that in season 2.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.